You are nervous around her, my lord. I wonder why. She's just a woman. What makes you so nervous around a woman? She's my sister. Don't really matter in our culture. Martanja shrugged. Wives, sisters, prostitutes, all are same for us. Rakshas had an open relationship with their women, for their ancestors were incestuous in nature. It's the men that carry the burden of this world, my lord, he grinned. I'm sure they do quite well with that sense of burden, just like you. Martanja stopped grinning and watched Kali in contempt. You want to know what this is? It is indeed out of this world, and from what my men say, it's from the gods. This is a nectar of magical proportions. Incorrect dosages can make you go mad. Why didn't you get affected? How do you know all of this? A man who helps someone should know everything about who he's helping and what he's helping in, Martanja explained. And you didn't think of ever taking it? Martanja smiled. I don't know. I never thought I was allowed. When has it ever stopped you? He laughed. My lord, you understand me truly well. You didn't use it because Durukti made sure to never let it be found by anyone else. She has hidden it somewhere in the city and you don't know about it. You have tried searching for the elixir and the futile attempts have led you here, where you imagine the Surus are the elixir and you drink it up, Kali explained. What if I tell you I found the warehouse where she has kept it? How did you? My informants are better than your men. Kali signaled again at his twin generals. Martanja looked at them with delight. You know, I would really love to know how you all met each other. I'm sure it is a great story. We are all a part of the story's narrative, chief. Kali smiled. Standing in the reservoir, which smelled of ore and fossils, Kali made sure to station the guards around the entrance to the warehouse. The Somas, as they were called, were right here, under his fist, unknown to Durukti. Each stone had a rough exterior, with a blue gel inside it, shining and casting brilliant kaleidoscopic images on the walls around him. Martanja walked, touching the rocks. Kali stood there, at his one place, his hands at the back, letting Martanja enjoying the pleasures of this discovery. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that you are glad, Kali responded. Martanja turned around at that statement, blinking his eye. Why are you doing this, my lord? Kali had a straight face. These rocks, they have helped me to regain my strength. I thought it would help you with your eyes. Oh, they are gone, pulled out forever. Nothing a little magic can't solve. You believe in magic now? Kali came forward. I believe in a lot of things now. It's like this has opened my mind to the universe. Now the existence of gods and goddesses, they appeal to me rather than repelling me. All of this is charming, my lord, but I seek honesty in your words, and I find none. It's hard to believe that out of sheer goodwill, you are helping me to bring my sight back. Goodwill is so rare that when one intends to do it, you think it's some sort of chicanery. Well said, Martanja nodded. So tell me, what is it that you really want from me? Kali and Martanja stood 10 meters away, their faces on opposite sides of each other as they continued to watch each other unblinkingly. Martanja waited for an answer. Kali didn't seem to be in a hurry. Martanja knew he didn't do it out of goodwill. He wasn't running a charity, of course, but he couldn't quite state it in a manner so blasé. All right, Rakpa is not here, and I need support. I have enemies in the office and I need someone I can trust. In return for your services, you'll be rewarded with the elixir, as well as gold from my treasury. Here we go, he laughed, coming forward. Of course, you can trust me. I am on your side as long as I'm getting what I need. I just gave you what you need. The Rakshas had a sly grin. All right, I'm in. Kali smiled, as they shook their hands to cement the deal. And for a person who you trust now, I should tell you, beware of the prisoner your sister has brought in. Prisoner? Arching his brows, Kali's mouth tightened. Oh dear, I suppose she hasn't told you that either. Martanja tapped Kali's shoulders. I think it's time for a good, long conversation with her. He fancies the village boy. There was something about her face. It always glimmered under the shadows of the fire lamp. Her eyes had dark coal, and an umber color over her cheeks seemed to highlight her aristocratic cheekbones. Kali stood there at the door, hesitating for a moment to enter her bedroom, but then did so, fearing nothing. He had to stop the fear that was killing him. He felt he owed her too much, but he really didn't. She owed him. She loved him because he had protected her from the fire, sacrificing his other siblings for the sake of her. She had worn a long night robe. In the shadow of the semi-dark room, Her eyes lifted and saw him. Kali noticed her expression changed. She didn't turn. She smiled at the polished brass plate, letting Kali know she was glad he was here. Kali walked to her and his fingers slowly massaged her shoulders, tightening around them as he began. How are you doing today? Interesting, she said. They both shared glances on a reflective surface, as if they were afraid to look at each other directly. They were afraid of facing each other with their true countenances. Did I tell you that at the time we were homeless and we were hungry, you said to me that you had prayed for us? There was a hint of surprise that crossed her face. Really? Me? Out of all the people? Kali smiled. Yes, of course. He paused. You were a believer once. I feel we all are believers when we are young. It's when we grow that we realize faith is overrated. What did I pray about? She applied some cream over her arms. Kali knew it was an expensive cream, found in the bazaar he was attacked in. A shame, for he was not able to find out who that card reader was. She had possessed an airy capability of frightening Kali to his bones. But she did tell him one thing. There would be power, and he was not to be corrupted by it. Perhaps, the power from the so-called Somas is what the old lady told him about. And perhaps, the part that worried him the most was about someone close to him who would betray him. Would it be her? No, it couldn't be. She was too loyal. But then, everyone was fickle. Beware of the prisoner. She fancies the village boy. He didn't know who this boy was, but the very thought of him brought a vitriolic emotion within him. He felt his lungs burning. He was feeling something he never felt, jealousy. And so, to dissipate the feeling, he took the cream from her, almost snatching it. To her astonishment, he began to apply it on her. There was a flicker of confusion that crossed her face, followed by discomfort. What is wrong? Kali didn't listen. His eyes had widened as he applied the cream, his fingers circling tenderly over her skin. You prayed about us, about our well-being. You said to the gods that we should get what we deserve, and that is a good life. And when I told you that prayers were worthless, and that the only one you should listen to was the one you love, you said that the person was me. Durukta's brow arched. I think that's enough cream. Kali grabbed her by the shoulder as she stood up and made her sit down forcibly. Her jaw clenched, and her eyes widened as he began to massage her head. His eyes meeting hers, his teeth gritting. He slowly rounded his fingers down her neck, almost in a choking manner, running it through her long hair and gliding them across her temples. Stop it. He grabbed her by the face, while his other arm wrapped around her waist, slowly reaching for her bosom. What? His fingers entered her mouth, but she didn't bite them. Perhaps she liked it. Perhaps she was uncomfortable. He knew what he was doing was wrong, but he had to do it. It was like performing a brother's duty. He let go of her face, and his two hands grabbed her neck. You went behind my back and you brought my cue. I love you for that, sister. But then, you bring a villager and you destroy an entire village in the process without telling me. Then you hide the very cue that's helping me. What sort of a double game is this? You think you can repeatedly lie to my face? He was sweating in cold rage, and I would ignore it because you are my sister? She tried to resist him by flailing her limbs. She was trying to grasp for something, but she couldn't. Her face had gone red. Kali came forward, his head slowly touching her shoulders as he kissed them lightly and looked at her in the mirrored surface. You mistook my love for you as submission to your actions, but never underestimate my silence for my kindness, because I'm back and not even you can hide things from me. If you ever dare to conceal facts about anything. She was choking and her eyes were frantic, but he didn't care. I will forget that you are my sister. He let go of her neck. She collapsed on the floor, coughing and wheezing, as Kali walked back to her bed and straightened himself out casually, while she took time to catch her breath. When she was done, with veins protruding from her temples, she shot a look of contempt towards him, trying her best not to let him feel her wrathful gaze. You don't trust me? She massaged her neck. Kali shrugged. To be fair, I don't trust anyone right now. So nothing personal against you. I'm trying to use the boy for our. Kali lifted his fingers. You don't turn him against us. I never asked you to have an ally. I just thought with our friends turning to enemies, we would need a strong soldier on our side. What's worse than concealment? The fact that you think you need someone's help when you should know your brother is more than capable of it. Kali said, leaving the room. But he knew where he was going. He was going to meet the village boy. He walked across the corridor of the prison. Many inmates came out to see who it was, past midnight, and when they saw it was Kali, they whimpered and fell back. One of them didn't. He used the choicest of words to abuse Kali. Kali walked to the inmate. He had a strange locket. The inmate lolled his tongue around. I don't get scared by you, outsider. You repel me. He stuck his tongue out as a gesture of indecency. And Kali did what any person would do in his position. He pulled out the tongue, ripping it with ease. Kali tossed it onto the floor, while the man fell back, wailing in pain. Kali could hear Coco gulping and Vikoko elbowing him. Should we, my lord, send him to the infirmary? Kali looked at the weeping imbecile. Nah, I like him that way. He grinned as he walked further. The prison guards shriveled back almost as they led Kali to the dungeon. The prison was more confusing and zigzagged than the ordinary lanes of Indragarh. It was surprising how Vedanta had crafted it. But then, Vedanta didn't believe in capital punishment, but in reformation, until Kali had come and changed it. He had seen too many men, too corrupted. He knew a punishment like imprisonment wouldn't do anything to an individual. Just because a criminal had been punished once didn't mean he wouldn't commit the crime again. He would. It was the way they were. They all were.